Hey everyone, it's Crystal with Army Wife 101 here to do my Army Wives recap from last night. Last night, what can I say? I don't know. I always feel bad because I'm an Army Wives addict. I have been since day one, but I just feel like, and I've said this in previous recaps, I feel like they don't know where to go with the show. I don't know. Just to give you an example of that and the confusion I'm going through with Army Wives, I have to skip to next week's episode. Now, next week's episode, they're going to have a fun run, which I'm assuming is kind of similar to what a lot of the Army posts do. Ladies, you might be familiar with this when your husband's unit or company does kind of like the GI Jane Day, and some of them put on their husband's ACUs, and you basically do all these like different physical activities that the Army guys or Army ladies do. Why is Pamela in that? Because realistically speaking, in my husband's unit, when they had one, you can't just bring like random females to participate. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad, but she's no longer an Army wife, so it just feels like, I don't know, it just seems kind of weird. Pamela seems out of place on this show, so I don't know where that's going. But anyway, in last night's episode, it starts off. Emmeline, we know, gets permission to return to the ice. Um, of course, she had missed the deadline for a school that she wanted to go to play hockey there, and she kind of was over it. And then I guess Claudia Joy, being whatever connection she has, was able to get some connection. And Emmeline played hockey in front of this recruiter, and of course I guess she got in, so that was that. um Joan got clearance from her doctors to return to work. She won't be, regular every the normal stuff she would be doing, but pretty much like administrative type paperwork and kind of overseeing some things. So it was nice to know that she'll be returning to work. Roland let her watch Sarah Elizabeth, so that was a start. I was happy to see her because I was kind of wondering where her and her baby's relationship was going to go, because it's just like, she hasn't really had any interaction with her. So she got some, to spend some alone time with her. Now, Michael Holden got a woman came on to him, some woman who was visiting this base wherever he's at in Afghanistan or wherever. I don't know what she was doing there. I kind of really, that went over my head. But anyway, she tried to, make a pass on him. Of course, Michael, in his suave, cool, calm, collected way, basically told her to kick rocks. And I like that about Michael. I feel like he's the type that is just a good guy, genuine good guy. Denise is unable to sleep. Perfect example, just kind of like, I don't know. I mean, it's realistic to a degree because we've all, if you've ever had your spouse deployed, we've all had those nights where, and I've had them because I've made videos about them, where I'm just like not able to sleep. I'm up watching like weird infomercials and the weirdest stuff on TV that's on in the middle of the night. But it was like, okay, is this really the highlight of Denise's, part on the show today? And I do realize that a lot of it might have to do with that she's pregnant in real life, and maybe they're not trying to do anything that can be too strenuous for her. I don't know. But that was pretty much the highlight of her. She broke down kind of like in this weird cry with Roxy, because she just kind of had one of those like, I'm pregnant and I'm crying and I don't even really know why I'm crying moments. Um, of course, the guys are still gone, so there's no talk about Trevor. There's no talk. Well, Chase and Pam are divorced. I tell you what happened with Michael. Frank, didn't really see anything with him. Other person that we can talk about though is Jeremy. Now, last week's episode, Jeremy kind of has a crush on this like nurse, or like some type of like health technician. She works in like the hospital at the base they're at overseas, and he likes her. It's kind of cute. Jeremy is such a cutie pie, and he's so sweet now. And he even shows up at her like a PTSD meeting, and he actually stood up and as you know from last season, Jeremy was not open to this whole PTSD thing. He was just really having trouble with it, and now he was able to stand up and say, hey, this is what happened and blah blah blah, and I was going through this. And turns out the girl he liked also was going through that, and hers stems from working in a hospital and seeing a lot of things happen, people losing body parts and people being killed. And I guess it affected her. And that kind of brought them together. I think he was confronted. We did see Trevor, my bad, we did see Trevor last night, where he kind of basically told Jeremy, listen, if you and her are fraternizing, whatever, kind of do it on the low. That's what he was basically trying to say. And they did. Him and her started talking via being in the same computer room and talking via instant message. But she's going through some things. I don't know if her PTSD is getting worse. She also, Jeremy and her were online, and he was talking to her, and she just kind of logged off. And you come to find out that she has a fiance, and she told basically Jeremy that we shouldn't be talking anymore. So, I felt bad for Jeremy because he really liked her. But that'll be a cute storyline to see where it goes. It's not exciting, but hey, it'll be nice. I just don't want them, when people talk about Army Wives, they're always talking about, oh, it's probably unrealistic, even the people that have never watched it. And to some degree, it is. That's TV. If it was all the truth all the time, who would really watch it? Even reality TV is not reality. But at the same token, I don't want it to get just too crazy, like where it doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, that was that. That was Army Wives. I usually forget somebody every week, but I can't honestly think of one thing that I forgot. So let's see. Let's see what happens on next week's episode. Now, I have the episodes here, so let's see if anything exciting is coming up. Next week, the Vice President's wife, Jill Biden, will visit Fort Marshall to kick off the annual fun run. Denise's sisters come for a visit. And, Trevor's unit is in a dangerous situation. And Chase works through some issues, I guess, in his marriage. That was the other thing. You seen Pam and Chase last night. Roxy's bar held like this speed dating thing. And Pamela came, I guess, to support Roxy, and who do you know shows up but Chase? They go home together. Of course, they didn't do anything. I was kind of hoping, they would get it on. This way they could get back together. Sorry if that's kind of vulgar. But no, they kissed, and of course, Pamela had to be dramatic and, exit. But basically, next week it says Chase is going to go through work out his issues in therapy, which is pretty big for Chase because, he comes off as kind of an arrogant macho dude. So I won't tell you what's coming up because everybody doesn't want to know spoilers. But I'll just say that next week, Pamela goes to a murder scene. I don't know if it's gonna have something to do with On Post. Um, and I'll give you this spoiler. I don't think it's too much. I'm reading here that the last episode, which appears to air on August 22nd, Emmeline prepares to graduate from high school. Claudia Joy receives potentially devastating news, and Pamela gets a call that leads her to question her future. Joan must make an important decision, and Denise goes into labor. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure that I don't know what the devastating call to Claudia Joy is going to be, but I hope it's not nothing too bad. Anyway, I'm at 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So visit me again at www.armywife101 and stay tuned because we only have about 2 to 3 more episodes until the season is over. Thanks.